Most people eat sugar every single day without even thinking about it. It's in tea, soft drinks, biscuits, chocolate, ketchup, even bread. The average person consumes around 20 to 25 kilograms of sugar every year. That's basically carrying around a huge sack of sugar and eating it little by little. But here's the strange part. Sugar looks so clean, white, and simple. Yet the journey behind it is messy, hot, loud, and surprisingly complicated. Massive machines crush plants with tons of pressure. Thick brown liquid boils like lava. Giant spinning drums move so fast they can separate crystals from syrup in seconds. And all of this happens just so 1 spoon of sugar can end up in your cup of tea. So how does a green plant growing in muddy fields turn into the sparkling white sugar sitting in your kitchen? It starts with sugarcane. Sugarcane is basically a giant grass filled with sweet juice. Farmers grow it in hot climates because the plant loves sunlight and water. Countries like Brazil, India, and Thailand produce huge amounts of it every year. When the sugarcane is fully grown, huge harvesting machines cut it down. In some places, workers still harvest it by hand using long, sharp knives. The leaves are removed and the thick stalks are loaded onto trucks. Now the race begins. Because once sugarcane is cut, it slowly starts losing sugar. So factories need to process it fast. The trucks arrive at massive sugar mills where the real transformation begins. First, the sugarcane is washed to remove dirt, mud, and stones. Then, giant rotating blades chop the cane into tiny pieces. After that, the crushed cane passes through huge rollers that squeeze it with enormous pressure. This is where the sweet juice comes out. The leftover dry fiber is called bagasse, and surprisingly, factories don't waste it. Many sugar mills actually burn this leftover fiber to produce electricity for the factory itself, so the waste becomes fuel. The extracted juice doesn't look anything like sugar yet. It's dark, cloudy, and full of tiny bits of dirt and plant material. Honestly, it looks more like muddy soup than something you'd put in coffee. So the juice goes through a cleaning process. Factories add lime and heat the liquid. This helps impurities clump together so they can be removed. After filtering, the juice becomes much clearer. Then comes one of the most important stages: evaporation. The juice is mostly water, so factories heat it inside giant evaporators. As water escapes as steam, the liquid becomes thicker and thicker until it turns into a heavy brown syrup. At this point, the smell inside a sugar factory is incredibly sweet. Some workers say the air itself feels sugary. Now comes the magic moment: crystallization. The thick syrup is boiled carefully inside giant vacuum pans. Tiny sugar crystals start forming inside the liquid. Slowly, more sugar sticks to these crystals, and they begin growing larger. This part has to be controlled very carefully. Temperature matters, pressure matters, timing matters. One mistake can ruin the entire batch. Eventually, the mixture becomes packed with sugar crystals. But there's still a problem. The crystals are mixed with sticky brown syrup called molasses. So factories use giant spinning machines called centrifuges. These machines spin extremely fast, throwing the syrup outward while the heavier sugar crystals stay behind. And suddenly, real sugar appears. But it's not white yet. Freshly separated sugar is usually light brown because tiny amounts of molasses still coat the crystals. To make white sugar, factories wash and refine it further. The sugar is dissolved again, cleaned even more, filtered through special systems, and crystallized one more time. After drying and cooling, the final product becomes the bright white sugar people recognize everywhere. Then giant machines package it into bags and send it across the world. And that's the crazy part. Something that looks so ordinary actually goes through an industrial process involving crushing, boiling, spinning, filtering, and chemistry just to exist. But sugar doesn't only come from sugarcane. In many countries, especially colder ones, sugar is also made from sugar beets. These are white root vegetables that grow underground. The process is surprisingly similar. The beets are sliced, soaked to extract the juice, purified, boiled, and crystallized into sugar. And chemically, the sugar from sugarcane and sugar beet is almost identical. Your tongue can't tell the difference. Now, here's something even more interesting. Brown sugar and white sugar are not completely different products like many people think. Brown sugar is often just white sugar with some molasses added back into it. That's why brown sugar feels softer and has a richer taste. And molasses itself doesn't go to waste either. It's used in animal feed baking and even alcohol production. So almost every part of the plant gets used somehow. But despite how common sugar is today, there was a time when it was considered a luxury. Hundreds of years ago, sugar was so expensive that only rich people could afford it regularly. In some places, it was even called white gold. Now it's everywhere. In fact, humans consume so much sugar today that health experts constantly warn about it. Too much added sugar is linked to obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Many soft drinks alone contain more sugar than the recommended daily limit, which means the thing that once made people rich is now something millions are told to eat less of. And honestly, that makes sugar one of the strangest foods ever created. A simple white crystal with a history of farming, giant factories, chemistry, global trade, and addiction, all hidden inside one small spoon.